Okay, this is chapter 64 of The Night Singer. 64. The butter on Rebecca's toast glistened, and she lowered it to the plate. It had taken her a while to convince Petrie, but he had eventually left for work. She needed to be alone, and in order to make him leave, she had promised to eat something. He had asked if she wanted to know more about his assault charge, but she had shaken her head. It could wait. Over 20 years had passed, and he had never raised a hand to her. He wasn't like Axel. Rebecca picked up the toast again. This time she actually took a bite, though she had to wash it down with a gulp of water. A car pulled up on the driveway. The blinds were obscuring her view, but she knew precisely what kind of car it was. Maybe it was because of the deliberate way the door opened and closed, the sound of the feet crossing the gravel, but she steeled herself for what was to come, the knock on the door. It had been 5 days since the police had knocked on her door and told her that Joel was dead. Brought everything crashing down. No, not the police. Hannah. The situation had been so absurd that Rebecca still had trouble processing it. She replayed the walk to the door over and over, everything that had crossed her mind when she had seen who was standing outside, the conclusion she immediately came to when she realized Hannah had joined the police, that it must be about Joel, that the worst had happened. The sense of hope she clung onto anyway, that it must be about something else, the despair when it wasn't. Now, when she heard the knock, Rebecca got up and walked over to the door. She was right back there, in the moment when her world had fallen apart. It was Hannah and the other officer again, but she couldn't tell from their faces what they had come to say. Hannah gave her a hug, and Rebecca reciprocated the gesture, though she still hadn't forgiven her for not telling her that Axel had been held for questioning. "Are you home alone?" asked Hannah. "Yes. Molly is at school and Petrie is at work." "Can we come in and sit down?" Rebecca led them through to the kitchen. She sat down at the table and pushed the plate of toast away from her, taking a sip of water instead. "Rebecca, there's something I need to tell you. About Joel. There's something I need to tell you." Her body remembered its reaction to Petrie's words, but Rebecca refused to let it crawl upstairs to bed. Should she tell them that Petrie had been to prison? No, she couldn't. That would be a betrayal. Rebecca stared at Hannah. What could she possibly say that would change a thing? What else had she been withholding? Joel was trans. What did you say? Joel was trans. What, he wanted to be a girl? No, someone Joel who confided in explained it to us. Apparently this person was trying to help him work out who he was. What do you mean, who he was? She sounded like a goddamn parrot stuck on repeat. He didn't feel comfortable in himself, said Hannah. He didn't feel either male or female, but a bit of both. Non-binary, I believe it's called. What did that mean? Rebecca didn't understand a thing, but she held her tongue. Hannah was looking at her like she thought she was about to start screaming, but the male officer's eyes were studying her calmly. What was his name? She had heard it several times, and it bothered her that she couldn't remember it. Rebecca turned to the window. She had noticed that Joel wasn't doing well, but why hadn't she forced him to talk to her? Coward that she was, she had hoped everything would work out if she just gave him some time, but he had turned to someone else for support instead. Did he ever mention the name Tina? Asked Hannah. No. What about Marcus Johansson? No. Let me show you a picture. Hannah pulled a photograph from a folder and placed it on the kitchen table in front of Rebecca. The image showed a man with light brown hair. I've never seen him before, she said. What did he do to Joel? Hannah didn't reply. Instead, she pulled out another picture. This one had been taken in the evening. The sun hadn't quite set, but its oblique rays gave the image a strange glow. Rebecca immediately recognized the background. It was Mockelmosen, the rest area where Joel had been found. She could see several people, the police tape. It must have been taken on the first evening, because by the time she went over there, the tape was gone. Hannah pointed to a man in the image. Do you know who this is? Yeah, that's Gabriel, my neighbor. Gabriel Anderson, from the Blue House? Yeah, Lena's dad. And Elias. Why are you asking me this? Rebecca could see the answer of Hannah's face before she even opened her mouth. I'm sorry, but I can't say. The glance the two officers exchanged sent a wave of nausea through her. She felt like screaming, Why are you asking about him? Hannah told Rebecca to go through a stack of images from the rest area, but Rebecca couldn't concentrate. All she could see was the picture of Gabriel. We have to go, said Hannah, but I promise I'll be in touch again as soon as I can. I want to know now. Hannah gave Rebecca another hug. I can't. Soon. And please stay here. Rebecca threw off Hannah's arms. How the hell could she do this to her again?